people, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Zaria, and I am back with another video. Sorry guys, I gotta readjust my mic a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Welcome back to the channel. I haven't been on here in a while because I got a little bit under the weather. I feel like, guys, I came down with the flu. I don't know. It kind of felt like it. Trying to get tests right now. For COVID, flu, anything. Trying to get seen by a doctor right now. It's like pulling freaking teeth. You know, so I had a hard time going to get tested or whatever, but I went and got tested today. If I had it, I'm probably at the tail end of it because I've had it for like 2 weeks. So whatever. I know it's not COVID. I've already had COVID. This ain't feel like COVID. Moving along. So today's video, as you can see by the title, this is another after ICOC video, guys. This is part 2 of life after the ICOC church cult. So recently I had some not so happy events take place in my life. One being my uncle died. Now, if you guys have seen my previous video, you know that I mentioned that my uncle and my grandmother was the ones who brought me into the church. Now, before you go saying, oh, well, you know, they brought you into a cult, this is what you got to understand. Most people don't know that it's a cult, okay? And my uncle, backstory on him is he had a disability, and, you know, he just saw the church as like a loving place. He saw love in everybody. So I think his disability basically, you know, speak for itself in that matter, is that, you know, he couldn't see what we all saw. So, yeah, moving along. So my uncle, who I took care of partially and just loved up on, passed away, and who genuinely loved me and understood me and listened to me. He passed away. So we have to bury him this upcoming Tuesday. It's going to be a hard thing for my family to deal with because this is yet another member of our family in 2 years that has passed away. We've had 3 people die. And if you know grief and if you know mourning, then you know what I'm talking about. If you know that experience, then you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, we're dealing with that. Now, you might say, well, how does that tie into what I'm talking about today? This is how, okay? So basically, I told you guys that my uncle was the one who brought me into the church. And so if you guys know, this is how funerals go in the ICOC. Regardless of whether I'm in the church or not, I still have to deal with the fact that when my grandmother dies as well, because she was a member of them, kind of teetering in between now, I still have to be around ICOC members. So because my uncle was a member of this church, I have to be around ICOC members. So let me give y'all this. Let me tell y'all how I feel about this situation. I'm like not in the mood to really be dealing with them because I feel like it's not love from a genuine place. One, I do feel like the church kind of neglected my uncle in the sense of coming to see him in the hospital, the nursing home. And this was pre-COVID because he spent many years in the hospitals, rehabs, nursing homes, all of that stuff. I just feel like now, you know, they could have basically like at least, you know, phone call away or come to see him at least once, or, you know, offered to help my grandmother out in some type of way. They didn't do that. They dropped the ball on that. When I was a part of the ICOC, I was used to, you know, if you have a baby, they get these meal plans together. Everybody brings a meal to you for a week. Somebody's sick. Somebody's sick. You know, they get these meal plans. And if you've been a part of the ICOC, then you know what I'm talking about. They put these meals together. Everybody donates, you know, a meal to you in your time of need. And so that stuff just was not being done for my uncle. I almost feel like he wasn't even treated as a member. And I've had some people on this platform come to me and say that they had disabilities and that they weren't really treated fairly. And I'm going to tell you something. As somebody who cared for somebody with a disability, they are human beings too. I don't care whether you want a functioning, well-functioning member. God didn't see my uncle as nothing else but his son. So that's how y'all should have treated him, in respect to the fact that y'all think y'all the only true church and y'all doing everything that God asked y'all to do. Why couldn't y'all love y'all fellow brethren regardless of whether or not he had a disability or not? Exactly. So yeah, that's my spew on that. So basically, you know, my uncle's funeral is coming up and I don't want to deal with these folks. I don't want to deal with these folks. I don't want nothing to do with them. I feel like they come in maybe because they care, maybe. I know there's quite a handful of them who did, but I just feel like the way that they treated me, there's no way that you could treat me like that and possibly love somebody who loved me regardless. Like, y'all were willing to throw me away because I did something that went against y'all doctrine, but my uncle loved me and never threw me away. He understood me and never threw me away. He didn't care about what I was going through. He never threw me away. He always kept the same love. So a person that's really a pure heart is not just gonna throw you away. That's the moral of that story. That's the bottom line principle, bada boom, bada bang. A person that really loves you is not just gonna throw you away because you make one mistake. My husband was not the mistake, but I'm saying in general, unconditional love is something that ICOC does not understand. They completely shut you off if you do anything that goes against their doctrine or anything that goes against God, and completely, like, they will just shut you off and they will stop talking to you. And it's almost like the love that they quote unquote said they had for you in the beginning goes out the door. So my thing is, and I'm very protective of the ones I love, and this is what I'm saying is, how can you love my uncle or come and say you in support of my grandmother when my uncle loved me and you were willing to kick me out or excommunicate me and just disfellowship with me because I married somebody that was not a disciple in y'all eyes, in y'all standards, on your standards. It just don't make sense to me, and I'm very overprotective of that, and I think it bred in me a little bit of anger because I protect those who I love, and I feel like it's kind of disrespectful when you're gonna come to my uncle's funeral, and I really feel like too they coming just to be nosy. I feel like they coming for him, but it's another excuse to, if they see me, ask me a bunch of questions or start asking about my husband or where we live now or where do we go to church or this, that, and the third. Or the third option is some people might not even speak to me. I've had that happen to me. Little quick story time. My grandmother had a birthday party, her 75th birthday. She had a Zoom party. I don't know why people like to do that, but she had a Zoom party. And it was mostly the women in the church. And one of the women in the church who I was actually kind of grew up around, she decided to invite me to that. And so I got on there and I started speaking about my grandmother. And a lot of the faces on there were just like people who were once welcoming to me, once loving to me, were like real cold, real harsh, kind of like real quiet or whatever. And I just felt like, man, like, these were women in whose houses I would go over. These were women whose kids I babysat. These were women who I confided in one point in time in my life. These were women who I looked up to and I put on a pedestal. And these were women who I thought loved me. But when it came down to it, I got nothing but the boot. And like, I don't want to say nasty looks, but like real just cold, like just real cold looks. So from that situation, I basically was like, yeah, I'm not in the mood to see these people because I feel like it's just gonna be a crap show. I'm gonna try my best to just tune everybody else out and just remember my uncle and love my uncle and mourn my uncle. Because at the end of the day, like I said, my uncle loved me with no strings attached, and his love didn't have conditions. And although a lot of people in this lifetime will fail you, there are some people who will love you regardless of what you do. They'll still stand by you. And, I think we need more people like my uncle on this planet, on this earth. Comment down below if you've had some instances where you still had to see ICOC people. Like for me, I live in a suburb here in Ohio. And I noticed that I would go to the mall and I would see certain people. And then I also noticed that I have a fear if I see somebody that I know from the church in like Giant Eagle or something, like a store or a grocery store, or department store or something. And I find myself a lot of times not really wanting to like engage for real. I just got to the point, and I think the young lady that made the Losing My Religion channel, because I do watch that, she made a point on there. She said that, a lot of times, because of just the brainwashing, the amount of mental damage that the church has done on you, you really, like, she said that she was kind of like ducking people. Like, she would see people in the store, she would duck them. Or she would like fear to see people out in public. I just got over that fear, literally. And I've been out the ICOC almost for 2 years. I just got over that fear of just like actually not really caring if I see them or not. Hey, how y'all doing? Speak to me. What's up? You know, but my husband, he all for it. He like, yeah, if he was talking crazy to me, I'm gonna hit him with the word. Like, and I think that's so funny because he's giving me the curse. Like, why are you scared of these people? I know you went through a lot with them, but these people don't have the Holy Spirit. They don't have no power for you. They have no power. All that they did to you, and God still blessing you. If you think that what you did was wrong, God would not have blessed you. And I had to seriously, I think that's what helps too, is if you got people in your corner who will snap you out of that fear, will snap you out of that imprisonment, they won't let you be in prison in your mind, they'll help you out. It's good to have those types of people around so that you don't stay captive to your own thoughts. And so with me, like, I think the biggest issue for me right now is I don't want to see them because I believe it's fake love, and I don't want to deal with fake love. I don't want to deal with fake love, and I feel like that's what it is. So I'm not fearful of them. I just don't want to be bothered. That's really what it is. I'm to the point now where I just want genuine, loving people around me. And if it happens to be genuine, loving people who love God, I'm fine with that too. I'm not against church people, as they say. I'm not against that. I'm just against fake love. And I feel like genuine love is not strings. It doesn't have strings attached to it. I just don't want to be around fake love. I think it was BTS. I'm so sick of love and fake love. I'm just tired of the fake love. I just want somebody that genuinely loves me to be my friend, to be in my corner, to welcome me with open arms. And if that person just happens to genuinely love God, amen. Then that means I've gained a real brother, a real sister. You know, but I just don't want people around me who not gonna love me for all of me and count my past against me, count every flaw that I have, crucify me every day. I just don't want that. I don't want that. I don't feel like that's a part of God's will. You know, and a lot of times, a lot of these churches come up with this man-made doctrine that ain't got no love in it, for real. No love in it at all. No love at all. And it comes with all these conditions. So, yeah, that's a little update life after the ICOC. I basically just had surgery, y'all. I had surgery on my left arm. Crazy thing is that the one thing that I used to protect me from, having any illegitimate kids in the past 6 years was the one thing that also caused and did some damage to me. So I had to get my birth control removed. And I know gentlemen on here, y'all might not want to hear that, but just fast forward past this part. But ladies, if you have any type of birth control, you and your husband trying to get pregnant or whatever, the Nexplanon is very good. That's the birth control that I have, but it did get stuck. I was that 1-5 where it got stuck and I had to have surgery. So that's a little update on that. Me and my husband are trying to conceive and make a baby of our own. And hopefully we'll be bringing in a bouncing baby boy or twins. Who knows, little situation going on. Who knows? I hope that it does come to be. Just be praying for us that we can conceive, because I really want to see the look on my husband's face, that just that happiness that a man gets when he's accomplished something with his wife. I really want to, be able to give him the child that he deserves, because he works hard and he's such a loving husband, and we're just doing our duties as married people. Don't clock us, all right? So yeah, that's that. And then, I got some story times for y'all. I'm actually gonna upload that today as well. So yeah, got some story times. And I had to sit and think, like, what else can I post? Because there's so many different things that I could post about on here, and just a couple little instances, little situations that I experienced or witnessed that didn't necessarily happen to me with the ICOC. I'm just trying to do some therapy for myself, y'all. If it's therapeutic for y'all, amen. But for the most part, I just was sitting here thinking, like, dang, I gotta see these people Monday. I don't want to see these people. I don't want to see these people. They got on my nerves. I mean, geez Louise. The last time I saw them, I was fading away. That was 2 years ago. That was at my grandfather's funeral. I was faded to the black, which was my first story that I put on here about the ICOC. And now it's like 2 years ago, and I fast forward to, I gotta see y'all again. Again? Child, I ain't ready. I ain't ready. I don't want to be bothered. Ooh, Jesus, take the wheel. I'm just like, it's so, if you know me, if you know the situation, then you know. If you've been through this, then you know. All y'all out there that's a part of the ICOC, you know how draining it is when you see people, the same people who try to recruit you, the same people who did recruit you, the same people who brainwashed you, the same people who manipulated you into thinking that you was the worst sinner on earth. You know that you don't want to see them people. Or nobody that look like them. You know you don't want to see them people. Like, what can I do to get rid of y'all? And the funny thing is they're international, so even if you don't see the people who recruited you to church you went to, you still bound to see more people on campuses. You want to see these people in your neighborhood, at your local store, and on your local campus, especially if you said no to them, and they still trying to hawk you down. I'll stay tuned for these story times because I got a lot of them for y'all. Just keep on watching. Peace.